Hi, everybody. It's time for Nature Connections with Minnie Kansman, a Star Nation's live stream show brought to you through Be Live TV on Facebook. And I am your host today, Minnie Kansman, and I have titled this show Walk in Beauty. So, we're going to talk about all things related to the word beauty and maybe some ideas or some new thoughts will come to you about what the meaning of beauty is for you. But first, I want to say hi to everyone that's joining me right now. I really appreciate having you here on the show live, and I wanted to give an update. I know a lot of people have been wondering what's going on with the fires in Colorado. I live in Loveland, Colorado, which is um, actually the fire of Cameron Peak came within 5 miles of my town. But the main fire that we're still watching is in Estes Park, Colorado, which is 45 minutes drive from my house. So that kind of gives you an idea. I'm not in imminent danger right now or to be evacuated, but Estes Park is where Rocky Mountain National Park is, and that's near and dear to my heart and one of the reasons that we moved out here to Colorado. So I am I have been watching the fires diligently. They do give us updates every morning and night. And luckily, on Sunday, over the weekend, from Saturday night through Monday, 18 to 20 inches of snow fell in Estes Park, Colorado. And that is very good news because the fire that day, Saturday afternoon, had high winds and was moving at a very quick rate and was heading right through my favorite campground at Rocky Mountain National Park. So thank goodness the snow came and gave the firefighters a really nice break all day Sunday. I know they were off because there was so much snow they couldn't even travel on the roads, and the wind chill was so high. And now, as we are at Wednesday, we're starting to get slowly warmer temperatures, but what's happening is it's very slow. So the water is melting slowly and seeping into all the what they call fuel on the ground, which is all the dead trees. We had a lot of pine kill in Colorado. The fuel is sleeping into the soil, into the dead wood, and so the water is seeping into that, and it's helping to slow the fire. So right now they're showing hot spots over the fire. They can see with infrared light, and they can see with the flying over, they can see smoke coming up. So they know where the hot spots are, but they've decided they're going to be really trying to handle those hot spots with manned and really able to focus on that. So the snow was a huge blessing. Very unusual to have this much snowfall in October. In Loveland, we had 11 inches, and we still have snow on the ground. But I'm so grateful. I have never been more grateful for a snowstorm in my life. So thank you. Thank you all that prayed and sent rain and snow and well wishes for what was happening here. I really appreciate it, and I really believe that our prayers made a difference in that. So I'm going to get moving with our topic. So what defines beauty? So, thinking about beauty, there's so many levels to beauty, but really what defines it? What makes something beautiful to you? So I looked that up in the dictionary to see what the definition of beauty is. The definition of beauty is a quality that provides pleasure to or to the mind by behavior or attitude. An attractive young lady, a stunning flower, and a mother cat taking care of her kittens are all examples of beauty. So that brings pleasure to the senses or to the mind by behavior or attitude. And I know that that's maybe not always the first part that we think about with beauty. We think of the physical looks of beauty. But a lot more going on with beauty, and I want to get into that today. The one thing that I really found out and discovered as I did this research on beauty was it is really a reflection of what we value. That saying that beauty is in the eye of the beholder is really true, because what we deem to be beautiful, another culture may not. So here in the U.S., if we're just looking at physical beauty, um, this woman might come to mind, Angelina Jolie, and she, is a Hollywood movie actress, right? Very popular here in the U.S. So what makes Angelina beautiful? And some say it would be her face or her eyes or her her overall physique, right? What is that? So as I was doing the research, I found out that there's been a lot of psychological studies on what we see as beautiful as far as in a face. Lots of experiments have been done. And it's been shown, I'm going to give this a solo. It's been proven that we really are attracted to faces that are symmetrical. And surprisingly enough, that are more normal than different. We like to see eyes in the place where we expect eyes to be, and noses in the place we expect noses to be. So more normal faces are viewed as more beautiful than faces that have a deformity on them, or something that's not right. Our mind doesn't want to process. Eyeballs in the center of our forehead, although lots of us have those with our third eyes, right? So let me take this off. So here's a picture of faces, male and female, that are very symmetrical in their shape. We've got eyes that look similar on both sides of their heads, and beautiful smiles, straight teeth. Nothing's crooked about that. So why are these types of faces seen or have been shown in experiments as beautiful? And one of the reasons is that we see that normal symmetrical face as healthy. And we are attracted to other beings that are healthy, especially of the opposite sex, for procreation, because we want to, survival of the fittest. We want to keep the gene pool really strong, and so those that are seen as physically strong, and if their faces are symmetrical, they look healthy to us, and we are attracted to that. Our brains are wired to want to mate with that type so that we can create healthy children. And so it's really interesting to know, that it's kind of in us. But as you see, as we talk today about beauty, there's other layers to beauty, and if you can get past that physical place, there's a whole lot of deeper emotional places that you can go to find beauty in a being or a place or a person. Interesting too, as we talk about beauty, what comes up is often it's interesting because I'm not seeing anybody in the chat room, and I think I have something not on maybe, but I'll say hi and see what happens. Also, I want to know if I'm sounding okay. So if anybody's there, and can let me know if you can hear my sound, because my snowball would not work today. So let me know if the sound is good. This is the sound off of my computer, and I'll try to speak up and slow. So there was a study done of, let me see, was it 100 women ages 20 to 60. And I'm going to be talking about physical beauty for a little bit and our image, our self-image of beauty. And they measured these women, they did all their measurements, and as they were measuring them, most of the women said, I'm not in the best of shape. And almost all of them said that while they were being measured. And it was really interesting. They had comments to make, especially about their hips and their waist, about not being in good shape. And the overall findings of this were, let me give this a solo. What women think about themselves. Only 10% felt happy with their body. 90% did not. The women in this, the 100 women in this survey, 90% of them, 90 out of 100 felt they were heavy. Where if we look at the reality, you look at these women's measurements with their height and kind of did the math, it was about the opposite that was really true. 90% of them were just fine in their size with their height and their weight, and only 10% were heavy. So we have this view of ourselves as being really different than we really are. And, why do you think that is? I can guess that our media is telling us what size we should be. We should look like these models that are very, very thin. And that one of the things I got a quote, you need to look perfectly beautiful in the way that we define beauty. And if you do not, you're a horrible person and no one will love you. That's the message that media is giving us. If you don't look like this, no one will love you. And that's just not true. So how can we shift that idea of what physical beauty is really to us and stop listening to the media? Well, one person did a beautiful book about beauty from around the world, because there's cultural beauty, and we see it differently here in the US than other countries view beauty around the world. We each have our own qualities that we deem beautiful. And this person, I wish I had the author's name. I'm sorry, I'm using so many of their photos too. Did studies, took photographs of what was deemed beautiful around the world. And I want to show you some of these. So this is in North Korea. This is their version of beautiful in North Korea. And she is beautiful, to me, but I don't know that she would show up as beautiful in the United States. So it's very subjective, and it's what we value. And I think it's very fascinating. So I have a few photos I want to share with you about different beauty in different countries. And we move on here. Okay, here is Afghanistan. Yeah. Um, I love, I mean, I'm loving the beautiful outfit that she has on myself, but no makeup. Do you that? That she has no makeup on. And, in the US, we're afraid to leave our homes without makeup on. How many of you have been home with COVID and not wearing makeup anymore? Um, I think that's really fascinating. I find myself like, oh, I'm going to the store. I better put some makeup on. It's like, who am I putting this makeup on for, me or the public, or because it's expected? Is it expected for us to wear makeup when we're out in public if we want to be perceived as beautiful? It's an interesting thought about wearing makeup, not wearing makeup. I know a lot of my friends, as they've gotten older, have just stopped wearing makeup. It's not a priority to them anymore. I think that we wear makeup sometimes to attract the opposite sex. I'm just going to say that. I was putting on my makeup for the show, okay, and my husband walked by behind me in the bathroom and he said, "Oh, you're getting yourself sexy for the show." And it was interesting that he used the word sexy, because I would have said pretty or beautiful, but he, as a male, said sexy because he views makeup, possibly, and I love my husband, nothing against Rain, but he sees it as me getting sexy. And so sexy means something a lot different than beautiful. Beautiful maybe I'm getting ready for myself because I want to look this way on the camera. It makes me happy. But if I was getting sexy, then it means I'm trying to attract something. You get that? So it's really different in the meanings of those words, I find. Yeah. So let's look at some more countries. So that was Afghanistan. This one I thought was very fascinating. This is Italy. And in the US, we would think of her maybe as a little overweight, a little heavy, right? But other cultures don't see weight in the same way that we do. I find that there's a story, I love this story. Some of you know the author and teacher, Clarissa Estes Pincole. Or is it? Yeah, Clarissa Estes Pincole. She wrote Women Who Run with Wolves and several other books. They're beautiful. But I was listening to one of her podcasts one time. She was talking about she was adopted and she found out who her birth family was, and they were from Mexico. And she, as an adult, went down to visit them in Mexico and meet them for the very first time. And she was very excited. And she got off the bus and got to the village, and they all met her, and they were all like, "Oh my goodness, you're so skinny. Oh my goodness." They didn't think she looked healthy. And their first priority was to feed her and fatten her up because they were all very large in their size. And she just looked so frail and ill to them. And so, our versions of what is beautiful and what is even healthy, because there they wanted her to be heavier, to be more beautiful. So I love that. I love that story. Let's go to another country. Let's see here. Okay, this was interesting. I think this was France. And I'll give it a solo so you can see her face. Look at all the freckles she has on her face. And isn't that interesting that they deem freckles as beautiful there? Where here in the US, I don't know. I know a lot of people with freckles that are trying to hide them with makeup and cover them up. But I think it's gorgeous. I think it's beautiful. But that's an interesting one. And then, okay, here's one this is from Belgium. Okay. Now this woman is beautiful, but she has, what those first surveys that I talked about. She's not symmetrical, right? She's asymmetrical here. For me, we're getting into that place of beauty is more than physical, skin deep. There's a beauty in her presence, and knowing that perhaps we don't know her whole story, and we kind of want to know how did this happen, and how did you work through it, and you look so strong and brave and courageous, and she is beautiful. She's gorgeous in all of her. And I love that one. I love that one so much. Okay, one more. This is my favorite. I think, there is something about women as they get older. Again, no makeup, right? Who would put makeup on this beautiful face? That would just ruin it. Her character, her being, her essence is coming through. We're going to talk about more of that in a little bit, but I love her. She is from Guatemala. Yes. And this was what was seen as beautiful in Guatemala. And, it also makes me wonder, do they revere their elderly more? Do they see their elderly as beautiful beings more than we might in the U.S.? Old and wrinkled is not seen as beautiful here. And that's really sad. And look at her. Oh, she's so precious. She's so precious. So let's go to cultural beauty even more. And this, you kind of heard of them as like the ringneck tribe. They really are women in found in Thailand in a tribe, Puntang, I think. I'm sorry, I don't have the name right in front of me. I did write about them more in an article I wrote for next month's Star Nations magazine, so you can read about more there. But what they do from a very young age is they ring their necks. That's one piece of tubular metal, like brass. And they ring their necks starting as young to give the illusion of a long neck, because in their culture, a long neck is the epitome of beautiful. And these women have these coils taken off once a year, and new ones put on and added rings added to. So they only really ever see their neck one day out of the year. Their skin, the real skin on their neck and everything, like without the collar, one day out of the year. And they say that the women that have it off start to feel immediately like they're kind of naked, and they need it back on. They need to get it back on as soon as they can. So it's very interesting, very different from what we would see as beautiful. But for them, not having the neck ring is ugly. Having the neck ring is beautiful. So again, to each their own. And what is your culture? Which brings me to another cultural piece. In Japan, in China, they often did foot binding. And foot binding, if you don't know about it, is when the girls are young, they take their feet and they actually bind them, and they pull their toes underneath, and it actually deforms. You have to break bones, and actually deforms the foot. But they're trying to make this foot that's small. It stays small because that was deemed as beautiful in their country. And the other reason was it was also a symbol of your wealth. Because if you were a woman and you had your feet bound, you couldn't work. and you didn't need to work because you had enough money and enough other people to do what you needed to do, have done. So you were a lady of leisure, literally, because it's very challenging to walk with your feet like this, if you can imagine. So we think, oh my gosh, that's awful, and they don't do this in Japan anymore. They have stopped this. Most, I'm sure, have stopped this. But and we think, oh my gosh, that's so awful, and so debilitating for the women and cruel. But then, what do we do? Is it? This is a form of foot binding. It really is. When I thought about it, and walking in these super high heels because it's deemed beautiful, it's deemed sexy, right? I don't walk in these heels. I used to. I tried to for maybe a year or so, but when I was young, but it never really worked for me. But lots of women do it still. And who are you doing it for? Why are you doing that? It's an interesting question to ask, and to wonder why. Why continue? Why do we continue with it? Can it be like foot binding and it goes to the wayside? I don't know. Some people feel beautiful with their feet like that. So I'm not going to judge. Just saying. There's also other cultures that do like big nose piercings, like big round like corks in their noses or in their ears. And that is deemed beautiful in their culture. So what we might see as ugly here, they see as beautiful and strange without that in their country. Okay, it comes interesting when we start to talk about tattoos. Tattoos have become very popular here in the United States. I'd say, gosh, over the last 10, 15 years, I've seen more tattoos than I ever have. But tattoos really come from cultures and from the past. Let me put this beautiful picture. This is a Inuit woman from Canada, and she has the tattoos on her face and her hands of her tribe. And her name is Hobak. And in 2005, she didn't have tattoos. She hasn't had tattoos all her life. In 2005, she realized that the last woman, because they were like the medicine women almost, that did the tattooing, because their tattooing is very linked to the sacred for them. It's not just about, I want this pretty design on my face. It's very linked to their ancestors. She realized the last woman that knew how to do this was died, and who would keep on this tradition? She didn't want to see this tradition of her culture die, and so she went and interviewed as many people as she can that knew had it done, or kind of knew how to do it much as she could, and became a tattoo artist herself. And with several different techniques that she does, she has started to tattoo the women in her culture, again, the young women. And she started the Inuit Tattoo Revitalization Project. Revitalization, I'll say that right. I have it written down here. Let's see. This project she started, and she got a grant for her, I'm supposed to say project, a grant for that to be done in her city. And she's started a whole movement of this cultural tattooing for the Inuit tribes. And she also wrote a book, which I'm going to put this up. about it, Reawakening Our Ancestors' Lines. And her name, again, is Hovak Johnson. And I'm going to put her name in the chat if you want to read about her book, or just if you Google the revitalization, the Inuit Tattoo Revitalization Project, you'll find a whole lot about it. But I think it's beautiful, and she doesn't want the patterns to be forgotten. And they put tattoos, like you can see, on her hands. They put them on their thighs, and there's meaning in each. And when you would get it, it could be a rite of passage for becoming a woman for a young girl, or when you have a big accomplishment in your life, you'd have a tattoo added. So it's really a part of her culture that she doesn't want to see die, and so she's revitalized it, and I think it's wonderful. And they really discourage other people that are not Inuit from getting the same tattoos because they want to. It's their culture, and so there was a white woman, a blonde woman in Canada that had an Inuit tattoo put on her face, and it caused a lot of controversy because her husband was Inuit, and she really wanted to follow that tradition, but it looked kind of strange on a blonde white female, I have to say myself. So interesting what can happen through cultures and beauty. And let's go a little bit to, I touched on this at the beginning a bit, but and I'm talking about our culture here in the US, and let me get those words off. What we deem as beautiful. And, males have it as well as females. I think females, we take it more to heart. And I know we obsess about it way more than men do. But know that men have images that they're seeing in the media as well that may influence them and tell them their chest isn't big enough, or they're not tall enough, or they're not virile looking enough. Again, that strength for regeneration there. And then the women, and do they get breast augmentations because they're not as large as the woman here in this Barbie doll figure, and the waist is super skinny, and then the hips become a little wide again. So we've got that hourglass Barbie doll figure. But really, where does this Barbie doll figure come from? And, sometimes it's not real. Most of the time, it's not real. They can do photoshopping now. Justin Bieber was not happy that this came out, but it's a before and after of one of the Calvin Klein ads. And, oh darn, I just lost it. I hate that when that happens. I'll see what I can do to find it up again. But what happens when we go from, the real photo, and then it gets enhanced, and it's not real anymore. I'm sorry, I can't find. Well, Justin must not have wanted me to show it for very long on the screen. Oh, here, maybe I got it. What they did was, they added more muscle, and they added, here, I got it now. Yep, here we are. So on the right is the real photo, and on the left, you can see they added more definition. A lot of times it's with the shadowing that they use with Photoshop to make things look more defined, like his chest, and just the way they put the edging on. Look at his back, much thinner on the right than it is on the left. Really, really interesting. and making his skin tone seem tanner and darker than it is, all the things you can do with photoshopping and media these days. So what we're actually seeing and basing our idea of beauty on isn't even real, isn't even attainable. That's interesting, isn't it? So I want to talk about, get to my pictures that I want to be at. The other side, the other side of beauty, and really about what walking in beauty is. If we look at the totality of beauty, in feng shui, we learn about creating beauty in our environments. And sometimes it's symmetrical, but a lot of times it's not. A lot of times what happens in feng shui is that we're mimicking nature. We're mimicking the beauty in nature. I'll put this up. This is Givernet's, Monet's garden in Giverny, France. Giverny, I better say it right. There's beauty in the irregularities in nature. This is not a symmetrical garden. Neither of his gardens, were the perennial garden or the water garden, were symmetrical. But there's a beauty and a flow to them that speaks about the feng shui of what's happening, of the way the energy is moving in the environment. And I love to share this photo of nature, because we think leaves are all symmetrical and beautiful and perfect, right? And I want you to truly look at this maple leaf. They're comparing the right side to the left. Is it perfectly symmetrical? Look at all the grooves, compare side to side, even the way the veins are through the leaf. No, it's not perfect at all. But somehow when we see this leaf on a tree, we see it as perfect. We see it as beautiful. So there's, perfection in the imperfections is what I call it. There's beauty in nature, and nature is a beautiful teacher for us about what is gorgeous, what is beautiful. And for me, beauty touches all of our senses, our sense of smell, our sense of touch, our vision, of course, and that's a lot of the first one we use, but our taste, our smell, our hearing. So sense of beauty found in nature through, oh my gosh, here's a rose in that same Monet's garden. The smell, this is gorgeous. This is a beautiful rose, just looking at it. But take it to another level of beauty by putting your nose in it and smelling it. Oh my goodness. I was in heaven. I was just transported away that day. And so when I look at this photo, yes, I remember its beauty, but I remember its scent even more than that. And like I said, beauty is found in music. Of course, I love harp music. I'm learning to play the harp. And I think like every song I hear played on a harp is just exquisite. It is beauty floating in the air for me. But also nature sounds are beautiful for me. Birds singing, water flowing like we did last month when we talked about the element of water. Just the way the wind moves through the aspen trees here in Colorado, that they're called quaking aspens for a reason, because they quake and they shiver and they make a really cool sound. It's kind of like nature's wind chimes with leaves. Wind chimes, another beautiful sound. So there's lots of levels to beauty besides the visual. Tastes. My husband's a chef, and we could talk about the taste in food and the beauty in food because of how it transports you and makes you feel when you're eating it. Um, Food can just be gorgeous, visually beautiful, but then when you put it in your mouth and it just you savor it, and there's another layer there of beauty. Art. This is one of my favorite pieces in the Louvre in France. This is a wood carving, actually, of Mary Magdalene, and I, oh, I love it, the way her red hair flows over her body, the colors. This beautiful piece was actually hidden, like hard to find. It was in the basement. It was in the lower level. It was one of my favorite pieces. Yeah, the Mona Lisa was upstairs, and the Venus de Milo, or whatever it is. No, they were great, but there were all these people around them. Okay, but I found Mary down in the basement, and hardly anyone around her, and I love her. And she was. So, what about? I love this poem. It says, I confess. I stalked her in the grocery store, her crown of snowy braids held in place by a great silver clip, her erect bearing radiating tenderness, the way she placed yogurt and avocados in her basket, beaming peace like the North Star. I wanted to ask, what aisle did you find your serenity in? Do you know how to be married for 50 years or how to live alone? Excuse me for interrupting, but you seem to possess some knowledge that makes the earth burn and turn on its axis. But we don't request such things from strangers nowadays. So I said, I love your hair. So when we see this package of beauty all wrapped up in a being, and it doesn't look like Angelina Jolie, I think there's magic in that. There's magic in their spirit. I mean, check out this lady. Oh my gosh, I love her. There's beauty in this photo. She's wearing bib overalls, and she's probably 80, 90 years old. I love that alone. But, look at her face. There's joy. There's joy in being alive. There's confidence. There's, she is here and she is doing it. She's living it. And she reminds me of that poem. And then and here's another one. Oh my gosh. I found such characters. They're characters on the internet. And you could tell in my voice as I'm talking about them, there's a level of beauty in them that transcends the visual, the physical of what we see. And I see her quirkiness, and I see her creativity, and I see her being her own person. And I see her standing up for who she is, and she doesn't care how many necklaces she has on, or if she has a goofy striped hat, because this is her hat and she loves it and she's gorgeous. And there's something in that confidence that speaks volumes. Especially, it seems like sometimes we don't find it till old age. Sometimes, and we see it in our pets too. Oh my gosh, look at this sweet, sweet dog in the graying muzzle and around the eyes. And there's just a sweet beauty in this being. And I want to celebrate that we see in our humans. So, beauty more than physical. Physical could be part of it, right? But what about the beauty of confidence? The beauty of trusting yourself and knowing who you are. I have a list here of ideas to think about with beauty. That beauty as a woman or a person, beautiful people, speak about their passions with conviction. They find the absurd and hilarious in everyday situations. They listen with gentleness and compassion to people who are suffering. They throw themselves wholeheartedly into a pursuit that they love. There's something right there. Don't you just love to see that when someone, like, they're going to write a book and they're doing it and they did it, and wow, I'm so impressed with you. It's great. Exercise their intellect to gain more wisdom, understanding, and deeper philosophical insight. It seems like beautiful people are always striving to learn more. They're curious. They want to know the whys. I at least find that very beautiful in people, and they're very, very fun to be around. Beautiful people have a glow about them. They have a light that shines from within them, that comes out through their eyes, through their smile, through their face. They're glowing. And it goes beyond that physical beauty. They could be, like I showed you, all wrinkled with a goofy striped hat on and a bunch of jewelry, and they're shining. Their soul is shining through. And that encompasses all the levels of beauty that I believe that we can inhabit as humans. Going even farther. Other pieces of, they admit their failures, shortcomings, and doubts with simple and unpretentious sincerity. They're sincere. They show sincerity. They're not afraid to admit to their mistakes. They'll say sorry. So this is that part about walking your life in beauty, walking in beauty, having character. Sometimes people call it charisma that we see, but it's not just the physical. There's so many more levels to it. Being vulnerable. Brene Brown talks about that a lot. The being vulnerable is beautiful. When you're not, sometimes it's hard to trust people that don't show that vulnerability, don't admit when they're wrong. It's hard to trust them, to really know their sincerity. And for me, they could be the most physically beautiful person in the world, but if they lie to me all the time, they're not beautiful. They're not beautiful at all. So I have a very famous Navajo poem. You might have heard it. And that's kind of where the Walking in Beauty title for the show and for my article that will be in Star Nations magazine in the November issue called Walk in Beauty. Well, I'll talk more in depth about pieces that I shared today. But this poem is part of the Navajo blessing ceremony. It's the closing prayer for it. And it's called Walking in Beauty. And some of you may have heard it before. And I'll read it. In beauty I walk. With beauty before me I walk. With beauty behind me I walk. With beauty above me I walk. With beauty around me I walk. It has become beauty again. Today I will walk out. Today everything negative will leave me. I will be as I was before. I will have a cool breeze over my body. I will have a light body. I will be happy forever and nothing will hinder me. I walk with beauty before me. I walk with beauty behind me. I walk with beauty below me. I walk with beauty above me. I walk with beauty around me. My words will be beautiful. In beauty all day long may I walk. Through the returning seasons may I walk. On the trail marked with pollen may I walk. With dew about my feet may I walk. With beauty before me may I walk. With beauty behind me may I walk. With beauty below me may I walk. With beauty above me may I walk. With beauty all around me may I walk. In old age, wandering on a trail of beauty, lively may I walk. In old age, wandering on a trail of beauty, living again may I walk. My words will be beautiful. I love that. I love that poem so much. It talks about beauty, and it talks about starting over, and every day can begin with beauty again. Even if you didn't get it right the first time around, there's always another chance. And even to be walking in beauty, in old age. Another layer of beauty that I wanted to touch on is our relationships. And this photo, I found this photo and it spoke to me so much. I'm going to give it a solo. You can feel and see their love and their connection. These two beautiful people. And so beauty can also be a feeling. It doesn't have to be a physical thing. It can be a feeling of connection that happens. And oh my goodness, this is palatable, that you can see this and feel this in this photo. I just love it. I just love it. So, gosh, to wrap it up. Okay, feeling or beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? And it's in what we bring to the table, what we believe beauty is. I want you to think about beauty as being kind of multi-layered, interdimensional, using all of your senses to sense and detect what beauty means and beauty is for you, more than skin deep, right? So, and that it's cultural. And realize that we're just a really small part of one culture that has this belief that beauty looks like this. And maybe if we can broaden our horizons, that's why I love to travel. I love to see how different people live and what they look like and how they are. And so if we can experience that, and the internet helps us with that so much, bringing you all these photos from these beautiful women from around the world, that can maybe ease our beliefs, our bias about what beauty is, and open it to connecting with so many other ways that we can perceive beauty in our world. I want to talk about, here's a beautiful place before we go. So my trip to Scotland, which is scheduled for May 17th to the 29th, is still on. But with COVID, we are kind of in that holding pattern again of waiting to see if it will really happen in May or if it will need to be rescheduled. Probably will be rescheduled for September, because I know those are the best months to be there, May or September, as far as less people, but good weather. I do my research on my countries, but this is a beautiful place that we will be going in Scotland when we get there, and it's called the Fairy Glen, and it's one of my favorite places. I'm so excited to take my group back here. I'm going to give it a solo because, oh goodness. So there's these interesting conical shaped hills with ridges on them. that just kind of show up out of the landscape. And what's really interesting on these ridges is that the sheep will be climbing on them, walking on them, and when you're there sometimes. But it's very much feels like an elemental beings live here, otherworldly, more than human, live here in this spot. And it's a gorgeous walk down a really sweet, narrow lane in Scotland with sweet cottages on either side of the road. And we walk down because the bus is too big to make it down there to the parking lot. So we walk a little ways. It's not that long, less than a mile. And then we come across this beautiful landscape that feels like we're in another world. And we spend time. We'll spend time. This is called Castle Ewan. The tall peak here of stone. There's a trail that goes up there, and then you can see for miles all around this island. This is on the Isle of Skye in Scotland, one of the many Outer Hebrides islands we will be going to on this trip. So if you want to know more about it, you can go to my website, minniecansman.com, and let me get that up here. And you can read all about the trip and, find out more updates, what's going on, or you can check out my Facebook page, under Minnie Cansman, or even the Nature Connections with Minnie Cansman page. I will, be putting updates about the trip and when it's happening and what's happening. But I do have, I've taken 16 people. I have 13 people that have been so wonderful to stick with me through this time of uncertainty. I do have 3 more spaces left for that trip. So I would love to have you join me. If you're game and being patient and waiting, but having something fun to look forward to when we are moving out of what we're in now. My goodness. Yeah. Also, I wanted to say on my website, there will be, my books are for sale. My Spirit Gardens, Rekindling Our Nature Connections book, and my Missing Nana book are both on sale with free shipping right now. And they make wonderful Christmas gifts. Especially, I think the Spirit Gardens one, as a gardener, I always love to dream about my gardens in the winter. That's what I do. Like through January through March is garden dreaming time because it's too cold usually to put new plants out or plant anything, but you do need to plan. And this book will help you with that and help you learn how to apply feng shui to your garden and how to talk with your garden elementals to get insight and assistance from them and how to do that. There's a meditation in the book even. And then my book, Missing Nana, is a beautiful book if you know anyone that's really walking through that path of grief right now, or perhaps, it's a children's book. I wrote it for children to learn some insight into grieving, some real, true, honest insight into grieving. And so anyone that's perhaps grieving an elderly loved one that has died can be very helpful. Also, Missing Nana has been read in hospice situations for adults as well, to really assist in other people seeing what a vision of the afterlife could look like, and how thin the veil can really be between our world and the next. So that's available on my website too, on minniecansman.com. Just my name with .com makes it easy. And I really appreciate you watching the show today and listening to the archives. I love to share about nature connections. And this one was even more, about heart connections for me today, with talking about beauty and the inner beauty that we all have within us and that we all can shine forth out. And it doesn't have to just be physical, but there's an inner beauty that we can hone and shine out to the world as well. And now it's needed more than ever. So that's my show for today. And until next time, may the blessings of nature surround you in everything that you do and everywhere that you go and everyone that you touch. Bye bye now.